Hey, morning replay viewers. Welcome to Hong Kong, where it's raining. It's raining and it's foggy, and it's foggy and it's raining. He still has to sweep the street, get rid of all the leaves. Very wet. Hey, Spike. Oliver's here. He's in North Korea right now, or South Korea. It is a rainy morning. We've got rain in forecast for the entire week, actually, and then some of next week. So it's typhoon season, and yeah, we got our first typhoon. Thank God. Hello. Flames and over under. So I'm gonna walk in the fog right now. Finally, a little colder. It's only going to go up to about 29 today Celsius, which is the 80s. But we've had rain for a couple days now, 2-3 days, and it's going to keep going for the next 8. I do have a raincoat. No more walking. It's going to be horrible. You know anything about an au pair here? I'm moving back in July. We don't have au pairs. We have nannies here. We don't really call them au pairs. You want to hire an au pair from Hong Kong, or do you want an au pair while living in Hong Kong? Is it cold? It's about 27 Celsius. It's probably about 80 degrees right now. A little bit of a breeze though. Yeah, finally we got rain. It has been so long since we've had rain, and we're very pleased that we got some rain. We had like 15 days of blue skies and heat, and then finally the rain. We have a typhoon. There's a tropical storm coming up towards the coast of Vietnam. It's going to go all the way up into North Vietnam, and then it's going to hang a 90-degree turn and cut across the south edge of China, and it's going to go right over Hong Kong as it cuts across China. So we're going to get wet about the next 2 weeks. We're about a 5-hour flight from Tokyo. I hear a car. Cars do operate on this road, so yeah, it's a 5-hour flight to Tokyo. We're actually going to stop in Tokyo on the way home. The kids want to go to the Pokemon Center in Tokyo. I'll be back. You'd like to be an au pair in Hong Kong? No, you wouldn't. You really wouldn't. The domestic helpers, as they're called, are paid $600 US. They work 6 days a week, and they live in closets. Being an au pair in Hong Kong is nobody would really hire an au pair, because you can hire a full-time nanny for $600 US a month. You're not really ideal. I don't think they have au pair. Yeah, it's a pretty big waterfall. This is Lugard Falls, and because it's been raining like a bear, the waterfall is actually pretty decent. Reminds me, I should go to bride school this week. It goes down even farther on the other side. Yeah, there are mosquitoes, but not so much up here where I am, because we're kind of high altitude. We're at about 1,400 feet above sea level, so the mosquitoes aren't as bad as they are down lower. Lower altitudes, more bugs. A lot of viewers. I don't know if I'm featured or something. Or just some sort of glitch. Hey, welcome to Periscope, guys. You are in Hong Kong, in the People's Republic of China. Right now you're on Victoria's Peak, on a road known as Harlech Road, Harlech, Harlech Road, and it's going to connect into Lugard Road and take me around the island. I don't know, we're going to have a little bit of a view here, but I don't see, you can just see a little bit of those buildings creeping up there. Disneyland Tokyo is actually a pretty good one. So I hike back down in there sometimes. Remember when I took you to the topless beach in Hong Kong? That was down there. I was such ashamed that the video went out just as I arrived at the topless beach. I know so many of you were disappointed. Now it gets really dark back here. So we confirmed our movers yesterday. Had to give them $3,000 US just to save the date. And they'll be coming July 3rd. On July 3rd, the big truck arrives at our apartment and squeezes all our worldly possessions into a tiny 20-foot container for shipment back to the United States. There's a Disney in Tokyo, there's a Disney in Hong Kong, and a Disney in, I think, Shanghai. Oh, $3,000 is just the down payment. The total cost is going to be about $10,000 US. Actually, I got a discount, $9,000 US. Yeah, it's rough. We wake up pretty much every morning saying, what are we thinking? Why are we doing this? But we have to do it. Yeah, the time change is a little different. It's not really, I mean, of course, you get used to the time change. The thing that's weird is I have to get used to the rest of the world relative to the time change. You see, I wake up here at the end of the day in the United States. So the news cycle is coming to the end in America, and Europe is still asleep. But now, when I wake up in the United States, Europe will be at the end of the day. So it'll feel a little bit weird, waking up and having to catch up on what's going on in the EU before we start the day in America. And of course, a day off the Asia time. It's going to be a weird, weird feeling. It's always a weird feeling when I do that. We're hoping it's going to pay off for the end for the kids. But if it doesn't, in 2 years, if we're miserable and the kids are miserable in 2 years, we're coming back. We've already decided that. Of course, everybody says that, but we just have to see how it goes. Are they excited? They're not excited, but they're curious. I think would be the best word to put it. They're a little nervous. I mean, it's hard to say goodbye to their friends. You have to understand, though, living in an international community, saying goodbye to friends is pretty common. Yes, we're moving back after 8 years in Hong Kong. We are moving back to Washington, D.C. this summer for a minimum of 2 years, possibly more, like 8 years back in D.C. until my son finishes high school. And then we can go back overseas again. I will miss it very much. I will miss Hong Kong a lot. 730-day trial, yeah, more or less. Though the way with schools work, it'll probably be more like a year trial. If after a year we don't work, we have to start making arrangements for schools and everything back in Asia. Oh, I'm gonna miss it. Somebody said that, Hong Kong is not our home, but we really belong here. And that's very true. We really do fit in Hong Kong, and we enjoy it here, and we have a nice life here. Hey, Paris, bonsoir. But the needs of our children come first. And our children have just been presented an opportunity that could drastically and dramatically affect the rest of their lives in a positive way. And we just kind of have to take it. Whoa, look at that spider web. You guys can't see the spider web, can you? Yeah, no more luck. No more insomnia cures from Asia. I don't know if Jonathan J.K. can put you to sleep. But hey, there's an opening for someone to come around Hong Kong and scope the mountains every morning. Zora the Explorer is also leaving Hong Kong this summer. Her daughter has finished school. So she is ready to go. It's quite lovely. Raven is around and she started scoping again. She's very busy though. Move is in July. Well, the movers come July 3rd. We're going to spend probably a day to clean up the apartment. And then we'll probably head out the next day or something. Depends when I can get an airfare. Honestly, I got to deal with that. I am on Harlech Road, Harlech Road, on Victoria's Peak, the tallest mountain on Hong Kong Island, which is in the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region of the People's Republic of China. Red China to your grandparents. I do live here. I've lived here 8 years. However, we are moving back to the United States this summer after over 8.5 years living in Hong Kong. I have a wife and 2 kids here. We had a very great life, a very fun life here in Hong Kong. But it's time for the kids to go to American schools and get ready for American universities and all that. There are American schools here in Hong Kong. It's just the schools in the United States have a slightly better track record of putting kids into the universities that we're looking at. And we want them to be more acclimated come time for university. It was a little sad realizing that my 9-year-old isn't going to remember all that much about Hong Kong. You know, he'll remember a lot, but it won't be as vivid, of course, as our memories or the older boys' memories. Come to Watford. I haven't been to Waterford in a long time. I don't know. We'll just put bars on the doors. Yes. My wife will work for the same organization, same bank. Fog is lifting a bit. Starting to see the mountains come out. So we're about to go through the bamboo forest where our signal often gets choppy. We'll do our best to keep going. They do study hard in Asian schools. In fact, my son's math scores are, well, frankly, off the charts. But the culture here is a lot different than American schools and American universities, and their English is not quite on par because they spend a lot of time learning Chinese and English. So English, they've graded the English school-wide. The English is not quite as strong as it is in the United States, and speaking proper English is kind of necessary. It's going to be hard to keep up with their Chinese in America, though. Ooh, back in the bamboo forest now. I think we're almost through the bamboo forest. Wind is picking up on this side. Strange. Usually it's windier on the other side. Coming around to the northern side of the mountain. Usually the southern side has the wind. Maybe it's just this curve. Yeah. Well, we think we're putting our family first. See, this is the tricky bit. Our kids are happy here. We're happy here. It's just their schools, while very good, are not super great. And we've got a super great option back in the United States. Had we not got into this school in the United States, we probably would have stayed here. In-N-Out. I don't know if there are any In-N-Outs in Washington, D.C. There are a lot of Five Guys. There's a Nando's. We're looking forward to Nando's again. Hey, Yvette. Nando's is peri-peri chicken. Hello. There's the Dragon's Lodge. So yeah, basically in 1 month I'm leaving. God, that's hard to think about. Hi. Well, I miss the most. I'll miss this, walking. Walking is such a key component of life here in Hong Kong. You walk everywhere. You can walk everywhere. There's a grocery store in walking distance to your house. There's a hardware store, a doctor's office, a dentist, restaurants. Everything is very close by. And that kind of lifestyle is just easier. Oh God, is it so much easier than driving to a Walmart or ordering from Amazon. You know, everything is right there when you need it. Sort of this always-on lifestyle. That is hard to replace. It's hard to replicate in the United States. The U.S. does not do a very good job at walkability. The new school? My wife got mad at me for saying it, but I'll say it. It's St. Albans. The St. Albans School of Washington, D.C. So you guys can go Google St. Albans. We're not sure. Nannies are not generally welcome in the United States. We're hopeful she can get a visa, but it is not a given, not by a long shot. So on Lugard Road, Lugard Road, on Victoria's Peak, we just went under what my kids call Super Tree. Super Tree is a giant Indian rubber tree. Roots that extend all over the place. I don't think we're going to see much of a view on this side. The fog is just too heavy. Yeah, fog. Oh, wife is calling me. Hey, how you doing? Yeah. Yeah, we won't worry about that till we have offers on the table, and then we'll figure it out. I don't know. Maybe. No, might have just went to a spam filter or something. I'll sort it out. I'll send another one from a different email account. Yes, different leagues. There is a universal rule for the top clubs. Yeah, he's playing there now. I've not found an email for him yet, but I will. I just went to bed last night. I went to bed. You going back to bed? You sound tired. Okay, I'll wake you at 9. So that was the wife. Wife is going back to bed. The soft patter of raindrops on our window is too much for her to stay awake. I on the other hand are out hiking in this, and it's actually getting humid on this side. Hot and humid. We do keep a good pace. To be honest, I actually walk a lot slower when I do periscopes, trying to keep the camera more steady. When I walk by myself, I actually walk quite a bit faster. We are walking uphill right now, so you might hear me a little bit winded as we go uphill, trying to talk and walk uphill. Oh, I know I'm going to miss all my favorite restaurants. I thought about buying a strip mall in the USA and then just importing all my restaurants to that strip mall, so I could kind of have everything I wanted. Korean tacos, wonton noodles, New Zealand fish and chips. Yeah, a different culture would be good, except the U.S. culture is rather foreign and alien to them. So it's going to be a bit of an adjustment going back to the United States. When we've gone back in the summer, we've noticed they don't quite blend perfectly with American kids. Mainly because they just don't know any. But now they're going to go back and be the new kid at school. We'll have to see how they do. They're curious, I think is the best word. They're very saddened to lose their friends. They're slightly interested in what the new school will be like, and their new soccer team, and their new house, which I have to actually buy. So I have to basically sell a house and buy a house all within the first month or so of arriving in the U.S., which is going to be a bit of a hassle, I think. No idea how I'm going to keep up my steps in the USA. I'm actually very concerned about my walking. I think I will buy a treadmill for my house, wherever that is, and I'm just going to have to do a lot of steps in the house. But the USA is not known for walking. I think we may end up walking the kids to school every day, if we can live close enough to the school, so I can get some steps in that way. Moving back to Washington, D.C. Oh, wow, we can see a little bit of the city. Got a gap in the clouds. A very brief gap in the clouds. I don't think we're going to have it again. Oh, I see a boat. In Maryland, yeah, I have a house in Maryland. I have to actually sell my house in Maryland so I can buy a house in the district. Oh, wow, the clouds are just moving in and out, so you can't really see much. I am going to sell our current house in Maryland so we can buy a house closer to the school, which is not exactly the most fun proposition, to clean up a house ready for sale and then turn around and find a new house. And you're in Beach Community. I live in Calvert County, just south of Anne Arundel County, where my house is. Whoa, look at that, a big gap just popped open. Just like that, remember? Just like wham, there's the city. I heard there's not a lot of property available in DC right now. We live on the waterfront, so we have a waterfront property in Maryland, which not everybody wants. It is too far. We're at about 1,400 feet above sea level right now. Yeah, it's on a perfect day, it'd be 45. It'd be about a 45-minute drive to their school, but DC traffic is less than perfect. What are you gonna watch? I don't know. It's gonna be awful. There won't be that many guys out at this hour. As you see a cruise ship coming in the fog over there. I don't know how this looks with the pixelization you guys are probably going through. I will get fat. I'm very worried about getting heavy in the United States.
Like similar, almost like you want them to wait, because if it happens now, it'll be too much.
Well, I walk about 20,000 steps every day. That's about 9 or 10 miles. Getting 9 or 10 miles of hiking in the U.S. per day, it's just difficult. Here it's easy. It's just super easy. It's like, oh, go to the grocery store, go here, go there, go that, do this lunch. Boom, you're at 9 or 10 miles. Wow, look at these clouds just zipping around. Their school is in upper northwest DC, so we want to keep it. Look at that. It's just totally, it's like, guys, you guys just wanted to see the view. Their school's near National Cathedral. There's no metro station there. It's more like 3 hours. A little more than 3 hours walking. Depends what kind of walking. If you're walking through the city, you're walking on a trail. I have a Fitbit 1, old school. And boom, where'd it go? Alakazam! The city has disappeared. I don't want to live in a rental house. I want to buy a new house, but I don't know if I'm going to have enough time to do so. Months. Two months to get to the East Coast. We have Hong Kong permanent residency, not citizenship. Time lapse. Why don't you visit? Round trip airfare is like $500, even less. It's about 7:30 in the morning. Last lunch, I don't know what it's going to be. Probably noodles. Kind of depends what day I leave. It could be something at the airport too. To DC, yeah. I leave in 1 month. Will I come back to Hong Kong after a few months? No, but I will come back within the first year probably. Yeah, sure. I will scope from DC. Just like that, there goes the city. What happened to it? The clouds. It got eaten. This is going to be an epic time lapse I just took. Of course, my hand is just about to crack because I haven't been able to move my hand while filming this time lapse. Kids are curious about the move. It's pollution, it's rain, it's a typhoon. I have a typhoon coming. It's actually pretty clear air today. Very clear. There's the city, look at that. Boom. Just like that, the city reappears from under that cloud. It'll be about a 14 to 16 hour flight. Actually, we're going to stop in Tokyo though, so I think we're going to overnight in Tokyo just to have a day of play in Tokyo. We have New Zealand style fish and chips here. Alright, we're going to wait for this cloud to come in and then we're going to end the time lapse. I'm sure you guys want to see this time lapse because it's going to be really cool. Here comes that big cloud. Japan with a layover in Hong Kong, going the other direction. No, they're a science-based society. Not nonsense-based. Oh, look at that. The cloud's gone. Boom. Japan's only about 8 hours. 10 hours. Wow. Totally gone. All the clouds. Okay, this is going to be epic time. Epic, epic time lapse I just took. I gotta take some pictures of this. I mean, look at this. Guys, you're not following me on Instagram. You should. Penguin6 on Instagram, and my Twitter is, my YouTube is Penguin6. Okay, you guys want to see the time lapse? Here we go. Wow, that was epic. Was that a cool time lapse? I'm not a lawyer yet, but that's going to be up on my Instagram, guys. Penguin6. I'll put that up as we're hiking. Yeah. God, it's gorgeous. Oh, it's just amazing. In fact, I got to take a selfie. Whoa! Wow, the wind just blew all the clouds away. Everyone, I'm going to miss this view. This is an amazing view today. You don't get views like this very often. I saw Poland play Ukraine in the Euro 2016. France. My kids are so excited to see Lewandowski play. Wow, my Instagram will be full of, hey pup, what are you doing? Yeah, you want to go find your master? He's down there. He's down, no, down there. Oh, down there. Go, go. Oh, poor little dog. Got scared. Little puppy. I moved too quickly for the dog. It's a big city, yeah. Okay, should we go up to the next viewpoint? Yeah? The nanny. We are going to try to take her with us, but it's very difficult to get a visa. If not, we have a lot of friends who would love to hire her, so she'll be okay. We are going to make sure she doesn't have to go back. British mailbox. British mailbox, there's not many left. I can get a toy one. I actually missed the tram cable. They cut the tram about 2 weeks ago, and I went up there and I just couldn't find a piece small enough. So here we go. Back in the clouds again. Catch you later. And we're in the clouds. Let's go down to the next viewpoint. Okay, let's get this Instagrammed. So much to Instagram today. But let's do the hyperlapse. Where is it? Shoot, which one is it? No, it's not that one. I took so many pictures. I took so many pictures I can't find my video I made. Oh, here it is. Yeah, there it is. Would have been better if I kept the camera steady. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should go make another video where I keep the camera steady instead of moving it around so much. Hello, Louisiana. It's not like I'm going to get another one of these days that often. Smog. No, it's not smog. It's a typhoon coming up the coast of Vietnam, bringing rainfall to southern China for the next 10 days, actually. We got back-to-back tropical depressions. Oh, wow. If it was smog, it wouldn't blow away with the wind, as you see it is doing. All right, let's get this time lapse set up. Hang on a second, folks. Maybe I just put the camera here. So I'm shooting a time lapse. We're going to be stuck here for about a minute while we wait for cloud to blow through. There's a lot of clouds over there. Ah! No, it's... Shoot. Camera's slipping. Sorry, the camera slipped. No, I can't fly the drone in this weather. There's a hydrofoil. Slowly coming over from Wan Chai. 1,440 feet up. About the same height as that building that's in the clouds. That's a bot. Off to the right, you can see the storm approaching. Oh, I can't do this time lapse, it's not working. The clouds aren't moving like they were. I mean, it's not that exciting of a time lapse. Yeah. Bummer. The other one was better, but I kept moving the darn camera because my hand got tired. Don't have my tripod with me. Bummer. It's not raining now. I didn't put the umbrella down. So let's go down here to the next viewpoint. The next viewpoint has a walkie signal, so we're just going to keep hiking, I think. It's one of the safest cities in the world. We have one of the lowest crime rates in the world. It's a very safe city. In fact, it's so safe, I worry my kids are growing up without any concept of situational awareness. Scary walking on your own? Are you kidding me? We had 24 murders last year for 7.4 million people. Yeah? 7.4 million people, 24 murders. That means Chicago could have 8 murders a year. If Chicago had 8 murders a year, you'd have the crime rate of Hong Kong. Street crime, violent crime, assaults, robberies, they're all very, very low here in Hong Kong. So, yeah, I walk here at night. I'm more concerned about wild animals than I am wild people. Well, that's only part of the situation. We also have more cops on the street and tougher sentencing laws. We have private security in most of the buildings. We have a better education emphasis. Families push their kids to school rather than to hang out and goof off. We have a sense of shame, a culture that still looks down upon people who, commit wrongs and whatnot, and looks bad for the family. The family unit will stay together to keep a family on the straight and narrow. Uncles and cousins, their job is to help the family stay good. We have no guns, as you mentioned, but we also have a stronger economy, so you can actually make enough money. Well, you make a lot of money if you want. There are jobs that are plentiful. And we have fewer homeless because the government has a number of emergency shelters, and there's other lower cost options. They're not the nicest, but there are housing options and stuff like that. So it's sort of a combination of everything anyone has ever said in the United States would reduce crime put together. And as a result of that, we have lower crime. And a lot of Asian countries have similar crime rates that are kind of low. It's not to say crime doesn't exist. Of course, there are bad guys. You've never seen a Hong Kong gangster movie, of course. But the numbers are nowhere near what you see in the United States. Or even Europe. Catch her out, there'll be another one. There's too many women in Hong Kong. There's a mathematical imbalance. Too many women, not enough men. So if a pretty one runs by, just wait a few minutes, another one will come by again as well. I actually was thinking about an interesting lawsuit. I was thinking if I ran a school district in the United States and someone came in and killed one of my students, could the school district sue the murderer for the money they spent educating that child? Could the city try to get back the money that had been spent educating that child? It was an interesting case because the city had paid for the education of that child on the idea that the kid would become a member of society, a taxpayer, etc. So it was a loss, and maybe the city, the education system should be reimbursed for that loss. I don't know, so just a theoretical exercise I was running through the other day. That's what you do when you're a lawyer and you don't practice law. You think about random, weird legal things. That's the other thing that we've often talked about, whether or not to prosecute the parents of a juvenile who commits a crime. Yeah. Well, it's actually all Scotland and England's fault, yeah? Yeah, if you guys hadn't been so mean to us in the colonies, we wouldn't have put in the Second Amendment. So we blame you, Scotland. We blame you. Of course, you probably blame the English, and let's all just blame the English. It's probably easier that way. Oh, hang on. There was this great Scottish newspaper headline the other day. It was like when Donald Trump won the election, and it said, "Local businessman wins U.S. president's election." And because, Trump has a golf club in Scotland. So the paper was like, yes, local businessman, now the president of the United States. Always a lot of those bugs at this corner. Big dogs. I'm not sure what Trump's family is, to be honest. I never really looked up the ancestral tree. The kids want a dog. The kids really want a battery. This phone's battery just gets sucked down pretty quickly. I wonder if I should get a new one. Oh, windy. Oh, shoot. Oh, crap. So remember that cloud we saw coming? It's arrived. Can you hear it? Yeah, it's a big hard rain. It's coming down really good. It's splashing under the umbrella. I'm getting wet. Very wet. It has cooled a bit, but still very humid. It's in the 80s and humid. Maybe high 70s, 80s, and very humid. Muggy in Dallas. Bouncy steps. I'd like the shower curtain. The problem is that it get really hot. It's kind of the same problem you have in raincoats here. You end up feeling like a baked potato. I think I gotta move the camera for a second. Ugh. Okay, sorry. Sorry about that. Made you all busy. We should have a bit of a view over here. It was acceptable in the 80s. Bob Dylan wrote that in the 60s. That's pretty cool. Hang on. Who wants a time lapse? I do. On the right is the Peak Galleria. It's an observation tower to see the city skyline. Down in front of you is the mountainside. This is my backyard, actually. I live down on the left in those houses. You can see the clouds making their way up the mountain right now. I'm attempting to time-lapse them, but they're not really moving that fast. So I'm not really getting that great of a view, I don't think. Huh, a bug was on me. The tower or the view is like that. Alright, I don't think that time lapse did very well. Let's take a look. Yeah, the clouds just weren't moving fast enough to be cool. Oh well. Yeah, I did put it on top of the fence. The problem is it's just a bit wet. The thing would slide. Pretty flat there, yeah. I've only been to the airport in Houston. Reminds me I gotta send an email to the guy I know from Houston. Yuck. Expensive. Well, I have not had lunch. It's only 8 in the morning. The average family in my son's international school spends $11,500 US per month on rent. But that wouldn't buy them much in this neighborhood. Most of the units in this neighborhood are easily over 20,000 US per month, 20,000 American dollars per month to rent. We say Lehao because it's Cantonese in Hong Kong, not Mandarin, which is Ni Hao. Yeah, milk is about $14 a gallon, 14 US dollars for a gallon of milk, 8 US dollars for a gallon of gas. Box of Cheerios runs me about 10 US dollars. You see, we live in a bubble. We live in a bubble of wealth and privilege here, and that's not really the best way for our kids to grow up. I mean, yeah, it's safe and they're surrounded by interesting and fascinating and global people, but it also, it's very easy for your kids to become jerks growing up with too much money surrounding them. So we need to ground our kids a little bit. Our kids need to be a little bit more real. That's actually part of the reason we're going back to the United States, is to center them a little bit more. Hong Kong, at least the expat lifestyle we live in Hong Kong, is just, well, it's a bit surreal. It's a bit surreal, to say the least. I tell the story when we were in Silicon Valley, my kids asked, Dad, why are Americans so poor? I said, why do you say Americans are poor? He says, well, we haven't seen a Ferrari in 2 weeks. And I'm like, son, that's called normal. That's called normal. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot for watching. Our battery is just about dead. We might pull out the other camera and make some more videos. Sure to check me out at YouTube, Penguin6, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Penguin6. You'll see a lot of the videos that we just took today will be up on my Instagram and on my Twitter and my YouTube later today. I'm going to sign off with a view of my house. My house is right down there in the center of the picture. And I'm going to walk down there now, if I can stay dry. Thanks again for watching. See you soon.